Hi, Thierry.
Hi, Florent.
Hi.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, nice. Super glad that we finally got this call together. You've been a user of Pimento for quite a long time now, and we had
I
lots
think
of
a year, no?
well, even more, I would say. Yeah, we had lots and lots of very interesting discussions, and you're a great photographer, trained as a photographer, and you will tell us about it. And you've been using AI in a lot of your workflows and be at the front edge of all the AI use cases. So really glad to have you to talk a bit more about your work and to deep dive into very specific examples you wanted to share concerning maybe the future of photography or the future of the way photographers should think about their shooting. So maybe to start, can you tell us more about yourself, your career, I would say, and where you come from, background?
Right, yeah. I've been a fashion and advertising photographer for a long time. I think I started in 91. That's a while back. And I've worked in many different countries. I had agents everywhere, and I shot advertising and fashion. And in 2020, I moved to Paris, and I was living in New York before that. And I decided to work more in corporate because the market with COVID changed. So I find that adaptability and flexibility is a very important skill to have beyond lenses and lighting. Which led me to when I was introduced to DALI in 2022. I'm sorry, I'm not talking about Pimento, but it was Natalie Summers from OpenAI who sent me a beta invitation in January 2022. And I was flabbergasted by my first prompt when I saw an image coming from text. I was sitting in that space, and I stood up and I was hyperventilating. And as soon as I saw this, I said, okay, I need to really dig into that and understand what it is, because even though it was shitty quality at the time compared to what we have today, I could see that it was coming from far and it was going far. So I started playing with it a lot. And as soon as
Yeah,
there were
you never get scared of it. That the first time you saw an AI image, you never get scared about, oh, it's going to replace me or things like
Okay,
that.
I have a small story about that. My stepdaughter has always tried to scare me in the dark, and they cannot. I don't know what happened in my childhood, but I cannot be scared. It's weird.
Like,
So when I saw this, I was not scared. I was excited because there's a geeky part in me also. I like what the new stuff that is technological, and I've always been an early adopter in everything digital retouching. I was doing post production before Photoshop, before Mac. I got myself hired by a company that sold the machines to retouch, so I could use them. They cost $500,000 at the time. I could use them evenings and weekend for my jobs,
yeah,
and
I
I
remember
landed.
well. You also were trained as an engineer, no? Or you did like
No,
a
not engineer, a math teacher.
okay.
I did 1 year of engineering, but that doesn't count. And then I finished my studies as a math teacher. Yeah.
Yeah.
So technical stuff used to not scare me too much, but since I've been training the right part of the brain for the last 30 years, I find myself a bit rusty when it comes to learning the technology. But I spend a lot of time on it, so I managed to use it to fit my needs basically. And right now I'm meeting a few limits, but I'm starting to learn a bit more. I'm digging into YouTube and other people who can help me.
Definitely. And maybe can you quote like 2 or 3 examples where you use heavily AI? Would it be in ideation, in editing, or in scene creation, whatever the main use cases that you are now working on, and that seems to work the best for you?
Yeah, I use AI to play with ideas because I've always built my images in my head. I don't know, you probably know my work, but every image I produced started with a drawing. So it starts in the mind anyway, in my case. I'm not a documentary photographer who captures an event, someone who constructs the event and shoots it. So it stays the same. It's only that AI gives me more raw material. I used to say I'm going out to collect pixels when I started shooting digital, because then after I collected them, I would build images with them. Today, I produce them with AI. I don't go and collect them. I make them with the AI. What it gives me is more flexibility to experiment, because I can add words, subtract from my idea, and see what happens on the screen, and then get led by suggestions sometimes AI can make with a glitch somewhere or something I misspelled and that works, and then it will lead me something else. Actually, right now, as an example, I'm invited to a photo festival in Lebanon, in Batroun, a
Nice.
beautiful city, a seaside city, very holiday-like, very nice. And they asked me to produce images for them, or if I had images. And it took me 2 weeks to think about images. And a few days ago, they called me and they said, "Well, where are the images? Can you send them to us because we need to start producing?" And I had not shot one. It took me half a day to produce the images because it had brewed in my mind, and the whole project came together in half a day.
Yeah.
And I have 5 images that I sent them, and I think they like them, they're going to use them. But they all came from my imagination, and AI was used to just produce them, which
Yeah.
is one thing that happens a lot. When I make an image with AI, people go like, "Oh, but we recognize you, it's your style."
Mm.
And that's one thing that I think is important to mention, is that if you do not have a vision, you become replaceable by anybody else with the same machine. If you have a vision as an image maker, you're not replaceable because it's the vision. The tool is a tool to make it easier, cheaper, faster, but it's not going to have the vision for you. It can help, and maybe one day it will replace us. I don't know, but right now, if it goes on with that speed, right now, I don't find myself replaced by it, and I have more clients than before because they know I use it. And that's a point also, photographers and myself, I'm in the market and I know a lot of photographers through my other venture, with Ushot. They are afraid, and rightfully, because when you don't know what it is, you're afraid because you see results that you feel are very simple. But it's not. It is still a skill today to create exactly what you need according to specific client briefs. It is not a simple thing that anybody can do. You still need to be an image maker and know how to edit, to compose, to comp in and retouch, to create the final product. And all of my images are not a single prompt. They are many iterations, taking an element from here, comping it with the other in Photoshop, but it starts with an idea. And if you don't have that, you don't have your value is less important on the market today because the tool makes it easy, so easy that it becomes you are pushed upward as an image maker in terms of what you have to provide. You have to provide more quality ideas and uniqueness, originality, and service, of course.
Yeah,
You have
which
to,
is kind of exciting since it doesn't replace you at all. For now, it's kind of exciting as a creator, I guess.
Yes, for right now, I mean, I don't know what we talked about it. I don't know where it's going. For right now, I find it empowering, and I actually have more work than I used to before AI.
Yeah,
because people come to me because they know I do it.
Yeah. I have maybe more questions about your vision about AI and photography that we will just tackle after the use case, because I'd like us to deep dive into the use case to really know how we use AI. But before that, I have a question, because you always talk about image. You define yourself as an image maker. Mm-hmm. Is it new that you use that kind of word instead of photography, or have you always defined yourself as an image maker, or was it like a photographer or a photo maker? Did you make a change between photo and image?
Oh, okay. Image maker has been a while because 3 of my best friends from childhood were photographers when I was growing up, and they still are my best friends. I still see them a lot. They're still, one is filmmaker, the other 2 are photographers, but one of them captured moments. He's a documentary journalist, war photographer. And for me, photography is capturing things, drawing with lights if you want, but then capturing what you see. Making an image, and this is why I became more of a fashion and advertising photographer. You can just capture what you see it, but making it is, first you imagine it is like someone who makes, I don't know, a shoe or a painting. He will think about this and imagine the object or the subject they're going to paint, and then go and make it. And for me, it was more making an image than capturing it. And when people ask me what my job was, I said I usually would alternate between photographer and image maker, depend on the day, because both work. But for me, it's more making the image, because also I was making it literally from a lot of elements.
Yeah.
I always started with a drawing and then go talk to my team about what we need to capture, and then organize the capture, so technically the shoot, and then scan, or later shoot digital and import into a computer and edit the image together. So it was more of a making than a simple capturing project.
Yeah, it's super intuitive. I mean, it means that it's not AI that brought you to create, but to make
Oh,
images.
no.
But you've always considered technology as a help and at the part of the image making process. Super
Exactly.
clear. Well, I have lots of other questions about the AI and photography, but maybe it would be very interesting to deep dive into your use case that you wanted to show. Can you give us a bit of context?
Let me just share the screen, and I will do that right now. Yes, voila. So I have, yes. So the problem that happened last week actually is I was shooting for a client that does mass consumption household products, and we were shooting a campaign over 3 days with video and photography for different markets. One was the Middle Eastern market, one was the Asian market, and one was the Indian market. We had 2 models, mother and grandmother, and a kid. Each day was for one market, and we had to get 2 babies per day, because when you shoot with babies, I don't know if you know it, it's really difficult to manage. So sometimes, they don't want to cooperate, so you have to change babies. And with the other markets, it went well. With the Asian baby, we had the problem. The first one was really out of her mind. She wasn't happy. She was when she was shooting, because just before the shoot, when she was with her mom, I managed to take pictures of her, because I always think in advance, say maybe I need to make digital doubles in case a problem happens. And in this case, we're lucky I had it. And so I shot the 2 babies, and then they decided to use the baby that was more or less cooperating, and she wasn't really. When it got to the images they wanted, she was not happy. She was not crying, but she was not looking happy. So they called me and they said, could you replace the baby in the video we had with the other smiling? So because I had taken all the images, enough images to create digital doubles of all the models, it was not easy, but it was possible.
Nice.
So what I did is I took the first frame of the video they sent me with the baby that was not happy. Let me show it to you. It's here.
The different frames and the different photographies that you took.
Yes, I can show you
the happier baby.
So okay, this is the baby that was not really happy. If you see it, she wasn't crying, but she wasn't looking happy. So what I did is I took this frame here, the first frame, and because I had trained the baby, because I shot the baby when she was with her real mom at the beginning of the day, happy, before work. So I had a lot of pictures of her, allowing me to actually create a digital double. So what I managed to do is this. If you see it, I painted the face of the smiling baby, the second baby actually, on the first baby. So the baby you see here is the one we could not shoot during the day because she was crying and unhappy all the time, but I managed just to get those. And she's the one they preferred anyway. So I replaced, in the first video, I replaced this baby with this baby. And they managed to use it. They cut the baby out and they replaced it in place of this first one, and it's going fine. That's so let me cut the yes.
Basically, it's like a mix of two different babies now. That you have like one baby who was doing the acting in real life, and then with another one who was for the head. And
exactly, because I took also the first baby that was the one with less hair. But in the end, they said no, we like the baby we couldn't use, but we never shot her. So can we transform the one we have into the one we would love? So it added flexibility and it saved the day for that shot. It's a it's a 2-second shot, but that's the one they needed.
One question of this: what would have happened if AI was not there? Would they have kept the not so good video? Would they have added another day of shooting? What would happen normally?
I don't think they'd have another day of shooting because this all happened way after the shoot. It happened 3 weeks after the shoot. It's all during post-production that they found that this wasn't working. So I think they would have just killed the shot. And this is the shot they needed for social media. They wanted it, as the ending shot of the video, the happy shot with the mother with the clean shirt, etc. Because it's a whole story where the baby makes a mess, and the product saves the day. So they would have probably not used it.
How did you think about it? Because is this something that you do all the time now? That when you go on a shoot and you take pictures of to create doubles as further edit, I would say
Yes, because with the same client, I was on the similar job with another product with the same agency 6-7 months ago, and because I was experimenting with Pimento also at the time on characters, while the director was shooting the girl, it was for a hair commercial. I shot a lot of images of her while he was directing. So I had a lot of angles with different lights, which was good for a digital double. You need different angles, as you know, and maybe 20 images is good. So I did that, and during the video shoot, I was not supposed to shoot that day. I just went on the shoot to stay with the client. Then I went back to my hotel and made the double of that girl and made videos of her, very hair movement with hair video because it was a hair commercial, and showed it to them. And the client, even though he's savvy, he knows that technology exists, was surprised because it was his model, his set, his day, and he saw that I do it the same day. So he asked me to think of it, and we had a chat about it, and he said, every time you come on one of my shoots now, you need to do that. In case video has a problem, in case you have a problem. So one of the reasons why since, when was that? It was in February, I think I went with them on the trip. They booked me 2 more times, and I'm booked again in July, because as a photographer, they know they're going to have someone who's going to take the pictures, but maybe save the day if there's a problem.
Yeah. And doesn't it doesn't change it, because there you're speaking about it as, okay, if there's a problem with the shoot, I can change. But if I think a bit further, it could also open doors to many different things about, oh, actually we took a shot, we wanted we thought it would be in a certain place on a certain day with a certain scenario, but we thought about it, and actually for example a competitor did kind of the same, so we want to change, and we don't want to redo the whole shot or re-travel again. So do you see like further applications of those digital doubles, or the way you would work with this client besides just editing and replacing faces as you show?
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's one main use that I'm talking to with a friend who has a modeling agency right now. Actually, I didn't talk with you about this, but I wanted to introduce you. The idea is to create a phygital model agency with models that are real. And okay, let me just jump back to the baby story, because talking about modeling, the baby came on the shoot. It's just that it was difficult to manage because it's a baby, and you can't really talk reason or sense into them. So the baby was paid for that day, and because it was used in the ads, the baby got their usage right also. So it's a case where the real person came and did the job. Part of the job was not proper, but we saved it with AI, and the person still got the usage rights coming from that video usage that was specifically for social media, which entailed extra rights, not only the video. So the baby still got the rights, the parents got it for that shoot. So go back to the phygital model agency. What they want to do, and I think it's a good idea, is, of course, you can create fake models from AI, from a prompt. But if you do that, will you have the model coming to your fashion shoots, interacting in her daily life with your followers? You won't. You still have to create her. You can make Aitana again, and of course, or Lil Kim, and have digital influencers. We've seen a lot of them, but we're talking to people, and people love people. I mean, they love technology, they're amazed by it, but they want to talk to real people. So if an agency can offer their clients a real model for fashion shows, for instance, you can't send a robot do the fashion show. You have to have the real model to go to events, to promote the brand during those events, to go to Cannes, to go to all the fashion events, also Fashion Week. And if they need the model to shoot, I don't know, e-commerce, boring for days on, they can use the phygital model, the digital model, and use her or him for e-commerce, paying the model still. So it would be finding a business model where the model can be paid less because they're not coming to the shoot, but still be paid for using their appearance, and paid full rates when they're actually physically coming to the event or the shoot.
And they could maybe also do more events. I mean, like if it's changing towards not just showing photographies, but more interactions with the clients online or in the real world, maybe they would replace those shoots, those days spent shooting, by more events, by more connection, maybe with the users.
Exactly, because I feel that digital or AI influencers are, it's something that struck a weird chord with me. I mean, it's nice if it's about AI. If this AI influencer is talking to me about AI, I say, okay, fine, it makes sense. But if an influencer that's digital or AI who is going to talk to me about a product that a human has to use, I'm not going to believe her or him. It's not going to work. So it was a trend. It's a technology trend that is, but I don't feel that people will connect. We want, the reason why influencers worked is because they were real people like you and me talking about their experience.
And actually, what about, because we had like the Mongo, the H&M also announcement,
Okay.
and it's very interesting you talk about like real life and real experience. One of the critiques that are made towards Mongo and H&M is that the clothing hasn't been worn really, so it doesn't perfectly fit the real person. What's your opinion about it? If you have a digital model and if you create a fake shoot, it's not exactly her. So maybe a dress, you see her in real life. She's wearing a specific dress, and then you see her on the e-commerce. She's wearing another dress, but it wouldn't fit that exactly the same way. Don't you feel think it's a bit like fooling also the customers in that way?
I'm gonna uncover a big rock here. Fooling the customer. We're talking advertising. I've been shooting catalogs for 30 years and advertising. Have you ever seen the back of an e-commerce model with all the pins and the tape that they put to make the shirt or the outfit look like it fits well where it's not? And when the customer gets it, anyway, no two humans are made exactly the same. A t-shirt that is going to be good on you might not work on me. So you're going to have to try, and this is why where it's not eco-friendly at all, but you buy and you return if it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Eventually it's better to go to a store with a bicycle to buy something and try it on, but we don't do it, and we order and we return things. Yeah. So I think fooling the customer is it's a big word. I don't feel that during e-commerce day, photography e-commerce, we fooled. It was just that because the model has a different build than the average customer, you fix the back so that it looks good in the photo, in the picture. So it's going to be the same in AI. For me, the result.
That's very interesting, and it resonates a lot with the beginning of our discussion, because it's still kind of image making. Actually, it's not a real photography, because it's not kind of the real person wearing the real clothing in the real life. It's kind of image making, and there's always a fake part of it by creating the image.
And this is one of the reasons I went into image making, is because I started as a photographer, and I tried to do documentary and journalism photography, and I didn't like shooting reality, because I thought that, and I saw it happening. You shoot an image, and then someone else writes what it's about. The magazine writes what it's about, and only the caption can lie. So you can shoot an image, or you can. And I saw photographers where I was shooting at the time set up an image because they knew it would sell. So during a news event, they would set up the image because they knew it would sell a double page in Paris Match for 50,000 francs at the time. So it was fake. And I'm like, if I'm going to lie, let me do advertising and fashion, because everybody knows I'm lying. So I left. It took me half a year to really get out of this and go into fashion and advertising, because everybody knows it's imaginary. So I'm fine with it. So now when I lie, people know I lie. What I do is impossible.
Something you have your own interpretation of it. I have tons of questions, but maybe we're going to wrap up this video to make it short, and we will certainly and completely do some other ones. Maybe just final question. What would be the advice you would give to a photographer that is now fearing about AI, or that doesn't really understand what AI is going to make to the profession, to the job, and in the next few years?
Okay, there's two advice, symmetrically opposed. One of them is embrace AI and learn how it works so you can offer it to your clients. Because one thing, and you are developing it at Pimento right now, is objects. For instance, doubles, digital doubles are important, because let's say you have a client who is selling, I don't know, sunglasses, and you go and you make digital doubles for them of all their brands models. Okay, let's say there's 100 of them. You have them in your iteration of Pimento, in your or other other systems, but Pimento does it well. What happens is you have a captive client in a way, because to redo all of that, it's going to take a lot of time. And because you have it, the client can be super flexible. They say, look, there's something happening at the Tour de France tomorrow. I want my model on a bicycle with these sunglasses. You can do it and deliver. So if you know how to do it, if you're trained on this, you can sell this idea to your client. And so you have a client that is always going to call you for repeat business, because you already have a store of all their models. And every time there's a new one, you do it. So instead of making you lose jobs, you can actually secure more. And also, because you have new skills, sell more to people who want those skills, because it's in fashion, because it's faster, because it's not here to leave, it's here to stay. The other advice I give is diametrically opposed to that, is dig deep into all the real photography techniques, old analog, view camera, cyanotypes, paper film, all those things, because with the advent of MP3 and digital music, everybody went back to vinyls and wanted to listen. The connoisseurs are going to do that. So there's a market for fine art or amateurs, nostalgia amateurs, who are going to want even a portrait or a wedding picture that is made on an old tintype and delivered as a unique object. So if you want to do both, it's great, because on one hand, you embrace technology and you manage to get the new clients. And on the other hand, you embrace nostalgia, which is the opposite, and it happens because of technology. And you secure different kinds of market. And I have a friend who did only that. He does beautiful scenery and portraits in Lebanon right now, but in other places also, with a view camera. I think it's a 10x8 view camera. And the result is beautiful, but it's unique object. So he sells it in gallery, and he sells a lot of them, and rightfully, because they're beautiful, but it's anti-technology. And he didn't want to embrace technology, so he did only one part of the advice, and it's working for him. But if you do both,
super interesting. And actually, I have a very final question, because I know you know a lot, and you've been in the field for a lot of years, and you know a lot about it. And you were talking about all the techniques and all the different lenses and all the different cameras that you can use. What do you think about learning history of photography and looking at photographies by great photographers, and maybe some kind of training your creative eye on jobs that have already been done, and which actually the AI has certainly seen?
Yeah, I'm not one to say that culture is not going to be important. It's the most important. It's the thing that AI does it. AI, what it does, it goes to all the images and does it in a way that's technical, that's artificial, that's computer-like. It will understand images in a way that you and me won't understand those images. Maybe you more than me, because you work in AI. But as a human, if you know the history of photography and you know what has been done before you, it's a great stepping stone to what you can do after that. So you have to look at what your forefathers have done. Like I look, if I wanted to define my fathers in photography, it would be Guy Bourdin. Like most people, it would be Steve Hyatt, it would be Dwayne Michaels, it would be Ralph Gibson, Irving Penn, people who have done specific things that I liked from each of them that I took to create my style. I didn't copy one of them, but I copied a bit of every of them to create my style. And this is where we come from. We don't invent from nothing. We have to have culture and digest it to be able to create something that is ours. So without the culture, I don't know how you can create something.
Maybe very average, I guess. Like, so super. Maybe that's a very perfect closing words for this session. Thank you so much, Thierry. We'll put maybe in comment of the video a link to your Instagram or portfolio.
I'll send you everything.
To work with you and to see your work. And super glad to have you as a user. And let's talk soon, because I think you have lots of other use cases.
I do. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Goodbye.